A good day, ladies and gentlemen. My name is uMkhonto. The ANC was banned from participation in politics in 1960, and other political parties like the PAC, um, AZAPO, and all the political organizations which were like seen to be representing black people. Uh, it means they were not allowed to participate in legally into the politics of South Africa. So they were operating underground. Uh, Yesterday, the ANC went to court to seek for the deregistration of the MK party. What that effectively means is the ANC is asking the courts to ban a political opponent from participation in politics. Uh, that's what they are effectively asking the courts to do. And in my view, I think that is not the work of the court. You know, the apartheid government, when they wanted to do that, they just went to parliament and passed a law to, to prevent black people from participation. So this is a political issue. They were supposed to just take it to parliament because they are in majority to pass that law so that it's clear um, uh, who is operating here. I think uh, the same tactics that were used by the apartheid government to fight against people and organizations which were seen to be representing black people. The same tactics are now employed or deployed against uMkhonto wesizwe party by the ANC. It raises the question then, who controls the ANC? It raises the question whether the masters who mastered apartheid in South Africa uh, are not the one who are fully behind the ANC of Ramaphosa, because the tactics you can see they are not even creative, because from 1960 up until today they were supposed to have learned something. They were supposed to have like come up with new tricks and tactics. So you are still using the same tactic that you used in 1960 to try and banish political opponents for the sake of implementing a Roman Dutch law in South Africa in its full slavery constitution. The Roman Dutch law, which is operating in South Africa, because this is not a South African law or an African law, it's a Roman Dutch law which is operating, which is totally unfair. I think in the first place, the courts were not even supposed to listen to this kind uh, of complaint by the ANC, because they don't have jurisdiction. Uh, you cannot, the court cannot allow itself to be used to banish political opponents. Uh, so whatever is the outcome of this. Whatever is the outcome of this court hearing in Bloemfontein at the electoral court uh, has got political consequences. So the separation of powers tells us that it was not supposed to be solved by the judges. It's supposed to be solved by politics. So even if uMkhonto wesizwe party was your name, if you are the ANC now and you failed to object at the time when you were supposed to object, and then this thing has gained momentum. Now you can't stop it. It has gained so much momentum. There's a lot of people behind it. Why would you still want to deregister it? Why would you seek deregistration? What are you saying about the rights of the people who uh, are behind the organization? Because in South Africa, the Roman Dutch law says everybody has got the right to choose the people they want them to lead. So if people want to choose MK, and MK has met the requirements of the IEC, why would the ANC refuse the MK from participation? In actual fact, the ANC was not even supposed to take uMkhonto wesizwe party to court. It was supposed to take the IEC, because uMkhonto wesizwe party did not register itself as a political party. It was registered by the IEC after it has followed and complied with all the rules that the IEC requires. The argument of the ANC in court, and of which they were biting tongues a lot, the lawyers there, their argument is something illegal has happened that has resulted into registration of the MK. And what is that something they're talking about is the IEC have requested documents from MK when they wanted to register the party, uh, of which the IEC have said it's their normal practice. That's what they do to all the political parties whenever there are outstanding documents, or when they want to register political parties and submit things that are not sufficient. They would advise the people to resubmit or to add. So, but that is not in their rules. It's not part of their rules, but it's a common practice to all political parties. So they want that to be declared as corruption, and they want that to stand as a reason to deregister a massive political party with massive millions of people behind it. These are clearly apartheid tactics that are being applied to uMkhonto wesizwe party. Will the ANC be able to succeed in court? The Roman Dutch law is meant to protect white people. That is a general statement. But will they be protected this time around? No, I don't think so. I don't think they will be protected, because the first thing, the Roman Dutch law, for it to continue to operate in South Africa, it must be seen to be fair. Though it's not fair, but it must be seen as fair, because if it's not seen as fair, it's going to collapse. So the white people, don't want that to happen. They don't want the Roman Dutch law to collapse in South Africa. They want it to continue to rule uh, to rule us in South Africa. So if they go against uh, the constitution and against the rights of everybody, the rights of the majority, because we can clearly see that MK is the majority, though they are trying to, on the national TV, SABC, and all that, trying to show that the polls, or what do they call it? Uh, those investigations that they normally make to determine who's got more votes on the ground. That is only meant for programming people, uh, so that when they rob elections, people should not complain. If they say MK is 10% in Gauteng, it's only meant uh, to make sure that if ever MK takes over, they can be able to reduce the majority of MK in Gauteng to 10%. If they go to 30%, then they can reduce it to 10%, and they will have a reference. Even the research showed before the election that MK will get 10%. There's nothing like that. So back to what I'm talking about. The Roman Dutch law wants to be seen to be fair in South Africa, because if it's not seen like that, it's going to collapse. We've got um, an option. If they find against MK, we can call a referendum. According to the same Roman Dutch law, we can call a referendum, and if we are in majority, we can call a referendum to change the constitution. Uh, Whether the government wants or they don't want, we can call a referendum to change the constitution if we are in the majority. So if we secure enough signatures, we'll still be able uh, to be able to win, even if the courts finds against the MK party, and of which it's never going to happen, because if that happens, then is the collapse of the Roman Dutch law uh, in South Africa. I thank you very much for listening. I will always offer you thought-provoking opinions. Have a good day.